Okay, first thing I need to say is I had a video removed for copyright infringement by Universal Music Group. Now that's a little suspicious because it was removed from my audio beginning of the movie, beginning of the thing, the Indiana Jones theme song. Well, first of all, I used it under 30 seconds. Second of all, Viacom owns Indiana Jones. Suspicious? I think so. So without further ado, I introduce you to the plot of Indiana Jones 5, the cut-down version. Well, with Comic-Con coming up this week, and and according to the Raider.net at Comic-Con and at G4 TV, there's going to be a little special something or another. Let me see. Indy fans returns to San Diego Comic-Con. Okay, here we go. Details of the show. Saturday, July 25th in San Diego, California, from 12 to 1 p.m. Indy fans and the quest for the fortune and glory. The Indy fans are back for their third year, meet the documentary filmmakers, and discuss all things Indy. Talk with two special guests from the world of Indy merchandise, and don't miss out on the giveaways more. Now, the two special guests, well, I don't know. But according to the Raider, let's just say one of them is very familiar with Indiana Jones, and the other makes dreams come true. In other words, I'm guessing it's going to be either George Lucas and Steven Spielberg or Harrison Ford is going to be the two. And that meaning that they're going to have updates on Indiana Jones 5. Now I'm going to check something because I asked Frank Marshall on how Indiana Jones 5 is doing. And, well, of course, nothing yet. I asked him 2 hours ago, so nothing yet. Now, tonight, we're talking about what's going to make Indiana Jones 5, and this is a good movie, a 10 out of 10 movie, on a very special episode of CC Nation. So here is what the plot should be for Indiana Jones 5. It's 1955. 2 years before Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That way you don't need Shia LaBeouf and you don't need married Indy. Dr. Henry Indiana Jones Jr., at the request of a certain Mr. Smith, retrieves a strange idol from the Marshall College Museum to his friend, whoever Jim Broadbent played in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Because Marcus Brody's dead. Because Denholm Elliott died in 1992. However, when Indy presents it to Smith, he and Broadbent at gunpoint, takes the strange idol, and escapes. The two find out that he is a Russian, and you'll explain, and I'll tell you why later. An agent of the Russian KGB who is interested in the excavations in Iceland, where Indy and an ex-colleague of his, Sophia Hapgood, once worked on an archaeological expedition. Kerner's second target is Sophia, who lost her interest in archaeology and became a psychic, giving seminars about Atlantis and communicating with the Atlantean god king Nur-Ab-Sol. Indy goes to New York City and meets up uneasily with Sophia. She's giving a speech. Now this is a perfect opportunity to use the witty comedy because you can do two things. You can do two things with this. You can use the doorman and you can sweet talk them like you could do, or you could, insult them. And I'll give you an example in just a second. Here we go. You ready for the example? Here we go. Who's that? I'm here to see Sophia's outrageous expectations. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'll finish that up at the end of the thing. Anyway. So, Kerner and I gave it away. The two find that Klaus Kerner, the Russian, had already been there, having ransacked her room. All of our artifacts are stolen except for her necklace, which she always wears. Sophie explains that the Russians are after the power of Atlantis because of orichalcum, a legendary metal reported to be more powerful than uranium. Now, from the Cold War was about nuclear power. If it's more powerful than uranium, a nuclear substance, then this makes perfect sense for a movie. Now, secondly, don't do this. This is an action-adventure serial movie. This is not a B movie, so don't make it a B movie. Here we go. The Russian army with Kerner and mad scientist Dr. Irino Spalko. or somebody Russian, not Dr. Hans Uberman, are after the element in order to utilize its unlimited source of energy. The key to finding Atlantis is the last dialogue of Plato's, called the Hermocrates. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is the plot of Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. You have your protagonist, Indiana Jones, Sophia Hapgood, your Klaus Kerners, your Hans Ubermans, Biff, Dr. Philippe Costa, Omar Abshbal, Nurab Sal, etc. Now, why would this make a good plot? I've already explained to why it would make a good plot. Well, because in the 50s was the nuclear arms race, 50s and 60s. Now, you could even make it after, as a sequel to the previous film in the 60s. Hello, still, arms race, water. I mean, this is trying to find a weapon more powerful than a nuclear bomb, and apparently auric alchem is. Perfect plot. So Lucas and Spielberg, and David Koepp or whoever, you get your script. You start writing a script based on this movie. If you're not going to, I will leave you a plot that is almost as good as it. However, I have a little sketch for you, and here that is.
Hey, buddy. What do you think you're doing?
Just let me in, you Darwinian nightmare.
I'm pretty sick of these fancy damn college boys, and I think you better apologize.
Can't apologize to a vegetable.
Alright, buddy, put up your dukes.
Why should I, you fat tub of lard?
That's it.
Indy punches Biff, he hits the ground, and then he walks inside. The year is 1954. The Nazis have been quiet for years, but now we're on the rise. For they believe they're on the right track of the Philosopher's Stone, a stone so powerful it could turn metals to gold and bring the dead back to life. With that stone, they are so close to having unlimited riches and bringing the Third Reich back to power. It's up to Indiana Jones to stop the Nazis and to save the world from the rise of the Iron Phoenix. Now this again was a pretty good plot line from another video game, except this wasn't used. Now I think they should have done this for the fourth film, because you can use Nazis. Because even though it isn't a World War II movie or a previous World War II movie, they've got a Nazi party that with Hitler could get back to power. This makes a perfect idea. It's after the World War II. It's in the 50s. Makes it makes it appropriate to be using it in this time period. Plus, the Philosopher's Stone sounds like a very interesting idea to be using for a film. Now, I don't know why they didn't do this, and honestly, I don't know why this wasn't a video game. Okay, because this was supposed to be a video game. Around the period of 1993 to 95, LucasArts worked on a sequel, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Now, Hal Barwood wrote this amazing plot idea called Indiana Jones and the Iron Phoenix. It became a comic book, but see, it was supposed to be a game, and it didn't, because during the development several problems came up. Anson Jew designed the first characters in Art Deco, but that style really didn't fit with the realistic backgrounds graphics created by Bill Stoneham. And for something else, they intended to use live-action actors instead, and some of the test footage was shot, but according to Anson Jew, it was just talk and characters were always meant to be animated. Moreover, the game was started as a first-party project, but was later passed on to a Canadian company called Strategy First, and they haven't really done much sense of anything. And it was passed on to Strategy First after Bill Stoneham had evaluated their team and recommended giving them the project. This is why Bill Stoneham had never worked on another Indiana Jones game since. But after being in production for 15 months, some parts of the game were shown at ECTS, which is like E3, back in the 90s. There, LucasArts learned that Indiana Jones and the Iron Phoenix could not be sold in Germany because of the plot depicting post-war Nazis. Not to mention that the swastikas used by the Nazis are classified as anti-constitutional symbol there and must not be shown except for educational purposes. Germany, however, was still one of the most important market areas for adventure games, and since it was not possible to adjust the game without changing an integral part of its storyline, they decided to cancel it. At that time, it was being far from complete. Only a fairly rough walkthrough was covered, less than the first third of what was planned done. Sadly, no in-game screenshots have surfaced. Well, there were no in-game, but there has been some art stuff. Okay. Secondly, this is a very interesting. I'm almost running out of time here. This is a very interesting idea. It seems like a perfect movie. You could use post-war Nazis. Spielberg, Lucas, kept. I'm giving you 2 plot lines, very solid plot lines, that you could turn a movie into that will not be as atrocious as Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which really wasn't all that bad. It fits the Indiana Jones mold. They were both supposed to be Indiana Jones adventures. Now I suggest you get working. I will be in the movie theater in 2011, and I'm going to expect one of these movies when I go see it. Well, we're almost out of time. Anyway, this has been a very special edition of CC Nation Reviews. Check out my reviews of the next Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, it just seems better with the pictures